Hi, this is Tisch Aitken, and it is Tuesday, April 18th, 2023, and I'm here to do a video for tomorrow's total solar eclipse. This is a big deal. So at 9:12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on April 19th and on April 20th at 12:12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have a total solar eclipse, and I consider it's definitely in Aries, where the sun is exalted. The sun rules the sign of Leo, and it's in its exaltation in the sign of Aries, so it's very strong here. But I also consider it in Taurus. Not many people are saying that, but I will, because it's only 10 minutes away, and we're still finishing up the Taurus Scorpio theme with the eclipses. This is the last round, and in this case, the nodes of fate are still transiting in Taurus Scorpio. It is a total solar eclipse because to have a total lunar or a total solar eclipse, the nodes of the moon have to be within 8 degrees of the new moon or the full moon. To have an eclipse in itself, the nodes have to be within 18 degrees of the sun or the moon. Otherwise, we have the monthly new moon or full moon. In this case, it's about 5 degrees away because the north node is in Taurus, the south node is in Scorpio, and the eclipse is the final degree of Aries, 29 degrees and 50 minutes. This is an eclipse that says to be courageous, to fight for what you want, to take initiative. Aries is the sign of new beginnings. It's the first sign of the zodiac. It's the child of the zodiac. It's very enthusiastic. It's very proactive. The sun loves being in Aries. It's a time of in the northern hemisphere. It's the spring season when we have the Aries equinox, the vernal equinox, when the sun enters Aries. And this year during the equinox, there was a new moon on the following day on March 21st at 0 degrees of Aries. That is the world axis. Anything at 0 degrees of the cardinal signs: Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. Now there is a new moon eclipse that is very fated and karmic because the nodes of fate are as they sound, and they are within 5 degrees of this new moon eclipse. But also, I round it to 0 Taurus. And so in this case, it therefore is about finances, how you earn income and money, what you value, how you develop your skills and resources and build your talents and work with your talents. And this eclipse is squaring Pluto, the planet of death and regeneration. And that's a huge deal because Pluto just dipped its toes into the sign of Aquarius on March 23rd. It will be in Aquarius through June 12th. It will return to the late degrees of Capricorn. It will re-enter the sign of Aquarius next January in 2024. But it's transitioning. It's going back and forth because then later in the year, next year, it will return to 28 degrees and 29 degrees of Capricorn. So it's finishing up that story, how we do business, the structures in our world. When Saturn and Pluto met up at the world point at 22 degrees of Capricorn, and you remember that on January 12th of 2020, that permanently changed the structures in our world forever. That's redundant because forever and permanent are the same thing. But now we are recalibrating and we're originating new things and we're entering new territory for sure. And so that's a big deal. And we are also dealing with Pluto is about to retrograde on May 1st at 0 degrees of Aquarius. I believe it's at 0 degrees and 22 minutes, but I've got to check the minute. I know it's definitely 0 degrees. And so we feel the buildup 5 days before and 5 days after. And that brings a big theme of change that even augments it further. And, that brings a lot of departures, a lot of major new beginnings too. If you get opportunities right now, take it. This is a time of fated opportunities with this new moon eclipse. And Mars is out of bounds until May 5th. And Mars rules the sign of Aries, where this eclipse is going to be. It's also in Taurus, but it also rules the sign of Scorpio in ancient astrology. And the eclipse on May 5th, I'll dive more into it, but that eclipse will be at 14 degrees and 58 minutes of Scorpio. That defaults back to the total lunar eclipse on November 8th. That was at 16 degrees and 0 minutes of Taurus. 16 fixed, right by the world point. Anything at 15 degrees of the fixed signs, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius, impacts people on the world stage. Big events occur, and also hits every one of us because we comprise the world. And Mercury retrogrades on April 21st, the day after the total solar eclipse, at 15 degrees and 38 minutes of Taurus at the world point, setting off the lunar eclipse from November 8th, setting off the upcoming lunar eclipse on May 5th, also setting up where Jupiter will retrograde on September 4th. Jupiter, the luckiest planet, is currently transiting in Aries, and it is at the world point within a degree on April 20th, April 19th, April 20th, on the day of the eclipse. So that also, Jupiter and Mercury are at the world point, or Jupiter is just within a degree, expanding the energy because Jupiter is transiting in the sign of the eclipse. Mars is out of bounds right now until May 5th, and Mars rules Aries, so that's over the top, and so some people might be very impulsive, and again, Pluto is stationing retrogrades, so that intensifies things. A lot of heavy emotions because Mars is transiting in Cancer, which is a water sign ruled by the moon, very sensitive, and it's out of bounds, so the emotions are very over the top. Do things to nurture yourself and nourish yourself, and also think of what you want to commence in your life. What do you want to initiate with this new moon eclipse? Do the law of abundance either on the 19th or the 20th, whichever you choose when you can. Try to clear the energy, burn sage or Palo Santo, or take an Epsom salt bath. If you can go floating or go to the ocean, it would be amazing. Do something to clear the negativity. Set your intentions, plant new seeds, find ways to raise the vibe. I wish you all a lot of luck. This is an intense time. In this eclipse chart, Mercury is conjunct Uranus. That's a very innovative aspect. That's a sign and an aspect of brilliance. Use this aspect to innovate a new future, and use it like the Fool card, that there are different paths and routes you can take. And, life is, when you have eclipses, things seem extra pressured and extra intense, and you can feel a sense of urgency. It can raise your anxiety, but this too shall pass. And often things could be building up and it finally boils over and you deal with it. Sometimes eclipses are definitely like wild cards. It comes in out of the blue, and the nodes of fate have spoken. But just go with it and keep expanding and be courageous. And I will be back soon. And sign up for my newsletter, astrologer, tishaitken.com. Thank you very much.